so if you need to use the facilities, they're out to the right. And please ask you at this time to silence your phones. You put them on vibrate or off. So I hear one going off now.
And good evening, Summerville. This is Leslie Canty with the Summerville Journal Scene. You just heard the 2-minute warning of the debate starting. This is going to be Summerville Town Council District 1 candidates. That's Councilman Aaron Brown and Challenger Lewis Smith. They're going to be starting in less than 2 minutes. They just did a coin toss, and Aaron Brown won. So hold on. This is sponsored by the Dorchester County Republican Party, Dorchester County Democratic Party, and Summerville NAACP. Again, this is Summerville Town Council, District 1.
Please, as we get ready to begin. People can still get in, but it'll eliminate some of the noise. And if you want to have a conversation, what's the saying? Take it outside. And thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this debate will come to order. First, this is a debate between the candidates for Summerville Town Council District 1 and Summerville Town Council District 5. First debate will be between Mr. Aaron Brown, the incumbent, and Mr. Lewis Smith, the challenger for District 1. Before starting, we'd like to welcome you on behalf of the 3 co-sponsoring bodies. The first is the NAACP.
Hi, good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Summerville branch of the NAACP, we would like to welcome each and every one of you to the debate on tonight. We hope that you give them your full undivided attention and listen to these wonderful candidates and what they have to offer and what they're going to do for you. And we just ask that you have a good time tonight. Thank you.
In addition to that, I'd like to welcome you on behalf of Ellen Campbell, who is the chair of the Dorchester County Democratic Party, and myself, Tim Higgins, who is the chair of the Dorchester County Republican Party. With that, I will turn it over to our timekeepers to explain the timing of the event tonight.
Gentlemen, you'll both have a minute and a half to introduce yourself. The moderators over here will take turns asking you questions. Basically, they'll take up to 30 seconds to ask you a question. You will have a minute and a half to answer the question. And when the minute and a half is up, you may finish the sentence, not go into another paragraph. If you challenge each other in your statement, then there can be a response by the other for 30 seconds, and it can also be rebutted with 30 more seconds in the back and forth of the tennis match. At the end of the questions, you'll have a minute and a half to close with your statement. Good luck. Oh, green light will be on, yellow light when you have 15 seconds left, red light means stop talking.
All right, and I will now turn it over to the moderators to introduce themselves to you and start the questioning. Have you decided who will ask in what order? Okay. Introduce yourself, please.
Adrienne Grimes, moderator for the Summerville branch of the NAACP.
Debbie Lodge, moderator for the Dorchester Democratic Party.
Peggy Dangle, moderator for the Dorchester County Republican Party.
First question.
What is the toughest challenge facing the town?
Just 1 second, please. What we're supposed to make an opening statement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Can we do one? Can we back up a little? Because this is democracy at work. We should say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
We didn't do it in the last debate. And we're going to keep these.
But I think we're supposed to do an opening statement first.
Yes, you are, you're right. You're
Mr.
right.
Smith, you get the first opening statement.
Okay. Good afternoon. It's my pleasure being here before you. Good afternoon. It's my pleasure being here before you in the great city of Summerville. My name is Lewis Smith. I'm a resident and I was born in Summerville. And I'm very happy to say that. I was born right here in Summerville. I graduated from the University of Maine. I taught Triton Tech and in Maine, history, English, and Western civilization. I came here at Triton Tech and I taught for a while. Then I went into my beloved working at the Coastal Center, which I was a counselor, and I'm in charge of for 500 people. Since then, I left that to go into private business and selling furniture, working in the furniture in all aspects. I retired in 2016, and now I'm at the Community Resource Center, in which we do a lot of work. I am here because I see District 1 needs change. District 1 is losing its cultural flavor. I see the issues with infrastructure that not being addressed. I see the transparency that should happen is not happening in the city of Summerville, as many of you know.
Mr. Brown, your opening statement.
Thank you, sir. I have a long history of service here in Somerville and in Dorchester County and in the state of South Carolina. I started my career in Somerville as a school teacher at Alston High School. After a few years, I left education and entered the business world. During my business career, I served on the advisory board at my daughter's school, and from that, I was invited to join the school board by Superintendent Charles Bose. Later, I won an election to the District 2 school board after it was required that we be elected. And from there, I went on to the Dorchester County School Board and served as vice chair. After we consolidated District 1 and 3, the county board was dissolved. So now we have District 2 and District 4. I was appointed by Governor Richard Riley to chair a state board from 1980 through 1988, doing his entire 2 terms. I later served as chairman of discipline hearing officer for District 2, dealing with expulsion cases. I joined the Somerville Town Council in 2001 until present. I'm seeking re-election for these reasons: to continue to build consensus amongst the council for progress, to continue to work on traffic management, to complete projects like the National Guard Armory, to continue the town's attractive quality of life. I love Somerville. This is a great town.
First question, Mr. Brown. What is the toughest challenge facing the town?
The toughest challenge facing the town agent, in my opinion, is maintaining the quality of life that's made Somerville so attractive as the town grows at a tremendous pace. So in those that we're talking about traffic management, because we're having a difficult time managing the traffic as the towns grow, and we also are trying at the same time to maintain the ambience of the town, the historic district, and the things that have made Somerville such a beautiful, attractive place. So in my opinion, that is the greatest challenge. As more people find Somerville attractive and they move here because it's so attractive, then the traffic increases and the traffic management increases. And one of the things that I think people may not understand is that before we can build the roads, we have to have the money. And you get the money through taxation when people move in. So you can't put the cart before the horse. So I think that's the greatest problem. I think so far we've been doing pretty well with it, but we're looking at a number of issues, finishing the building of Burley Lodge Parkway on the southern end of the city, and then building the Maple Street extension on the upper part, which will give us some leverage, take a lot of traffic off of Main Street. There's some other things we're looking at. We're looking at rail passage from Somerville to North Charleston. We have a great bicycle committee. So we're doing a number of things to manage that problem.
Thank you.
Okay. The toughest challenges I look at in the city of Summerville. Number one, we have the infrastructure problem. Number two, we have to maintain the ambiance that exists in downtown Summerville. In that we have to look at the variance of the buildings and how we are building them. We must look at that and deal with that. And of course, number three is the discourse and disharmony that exists within the city council at the present time. What we have now with the infrastructure, of course we know all of it is tax and you have to have the monies. But in looking at certain annexations, certain areas that has been taken over with the infrastructure, such as North Maple, we found out that the citizenry has little or no knowledge as to what's going on. As a result, it created confusion, lots of confusion, and people just don't understand why they're losing their property. Also, when we look at downtown, we've had a lot of councilmen looking at trying to go high, meaning higher buildings, and changing the actual atmosphere of what Summerville, this great city, is. And of course, thirdly, we want to make some changes on that council so that we can, as a group, can work together and build a strong consensus as to where we are going. And I believe the citizens should be the ones involved in that process. Thank you, sir.
Second question, Mr. Smith. Speaking of annexation, should the town have an annexation policy? And if so, what should it be?
Annexation. Annexation is a big word. You have to be very careful when you're talking about annexation. Are you going to annex to build industry, or you're annexing to bring in citizenry? Typically speaking, we've had issues with those. I'm sorry with this mic, y'all. Typically speaking, we've had issues with annexation because it has typically went around certain neighborhoods and not cover the whole neighborhoods. And also, when you look at annexation, industrial-wise, we as a town has to be very, very careful in what we are going to bring in when we annex. I would prefer an industry that brings in our quality, using our minds and our hands, like a Silicon Valley in annexation. We know that there's a balance, imbalance at the present time, with the citizenry paying most of the taxes as opposed to the industry. We know that. And now what we have to do is come up with a clear and concise plan in which we as people work together, the citizens. And I'm not talking about 4 or 5 people in a room. I'm talking about all of us getting together and developing this. And we have to look at that 10-year plan. That's a good question. We have to look at that 10-year plan and separate it to look at it at 6-month basis and so on. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Brown?
Same question, but annexation. Will you repeat the question, please?
Should the town have an annexation policy? And if so, what should it be?
Okay, the town has an annexation policy, and we also have an annexation coordinator to deal with annexing issues, trying to bring in the donut holes. We've got a lot of areas, whole subdivisions, in fact, like for instance, Quail Harbor 5 on Trolley Road is not in the city limits. So we have an annexation policy of trying to bring these particular large developments in. Why? Because basically they're already getting the service. We have the top public safety division in the county. With the police and the fire, there's something called a mutual aid agreement. And so if there is a problem in the county, our police will go to assist, our fire department goes to assist. So in a sense, they're already getting the benefits of living close or juxtaposing Summerville. So what we're looking at is trying to find ways to make it more attractive to bring them in to the city so they can have the full benefits of being a member of the city. But we do have an annexation policy. I think you've got to have that when you have a growing city like we do. You've got to have some policy that also helps you control the traffic problem.
Mr. Smith, what can the town council do to protect our homes from flooding?
You directing that question to me?
I said Mr. Smith.
I think alternate, doesn't it? Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Brown.
Okay. We have a number of flooding problems in town. One of the things we recently did in my district, in District 1, we just got a community development block grant of $174,000 to alleviate the drainage problem in the Robinson subdivision. When I first got on council about 12 years ago, we did a retention pond in that very same area to drain some of the problems off. But over the years, we found out that we needed to do more. Currently, there's another area that's been having some flooding problems, and the council just dealt with that. We look for grants, we look for ways to use the resources that we have to deal with flooding. We only have serious flooding areas in some of the outlying areas. In the city of Summerville proper, we don't have that many flooding problems, but the flooding problems that we have generally comes from poor development. The developers have come in and built subdivisions and their feet weren't held to the fire by previous councils, and they got away with not doing the drainage that they promised to do when they decided to build these houses. And so the town is having to come back and cure these issues. But we are looking at flooding seriously. We meet the state requirements, we meet the federal requirements, so we're trying to do what we can.
Mr. Smith.
Okay, thank you. Flooding problems. Flooding problems is, we have to really think about this very seriously. And how do we get to where we are presently in regards to the flooding problems that exist in the city of Summerville? And that is, we have let a lot of industry, a lot of capitalism, if you will, go amok. Where we should, and we had rivers going one way, and we covered those up. That's what I'm talking about. And as a result, water has a way of going where it naturally goes. So what we have to do, what Mr. Brown just spoke about was a hodgepodge system. What we have to do is get collectively with the federal government. We have to come together collectively with the citizenry of Summerville and decide how are we going to work with growth? How are we going to work with sustainable growth? And from that, we can develop ways of maintaining or helping with the flooding issue that exists. Yes, there's a flooding issue, but we have to not do it as a hodgepodge, but we have to do it with the federal government, the state government, the county, as well as the city. Because what's happening, we've built subdivisions on swamps. We have built areas that shouldn't have houses. This, I hate to say it like this, but this is man-created. Thank you.
I need a 30-minute, I think I get a 30-minute rebuttal since this
30 seconds.
Mr. Smith mentioned my name, talking about the flooding and the hodgepodge of flooding. Obviously, Mr. Smith does not understand the flooding problems and how they're dealt with. He seems to be all over the place when talking about flooding, as he is far dealing with specificity as to how you deal with these issues. I would encourage Mr. Smith to do a little bit more research on these issues before he tries to understand what's going on.
Councilman Brown, I'm amazed that you're using such an old technique in debate. I realize that I know that we built up lands where it should be built up. That's not all over the place. That's a fact. I do know that we built subdivisions in swamps. That's not all over the place. That's a fact, sir. I think before you start trying to use one-liners, you should look at the facts. And the facts stated is that we built over places where we shouldn't build. And Mr. Brown, we have problems. We created these problems. And now you want to go. Thank you, sir.
Second question, Mr. Smith. What is the biggest social issue the town faces, and how would you address it?
The biggest social issue?
Social issue, yes.
The biggest, what I would consider one of the biggest social issues that this town has is where are we going culturally? Okay, I look at downtown Summerville, and I look at that ambiance that we have is a very beautiful ambiance. And I believe that those issues that we have to address. When we're talking about social issues, you're saying we have, I don't see any, police department, I believe, works really well with the community. In fact, with our town halls, we've had nothing but good communications. In fact, Chief Rogers answered all of our questions. But Mr. Brown, where were you?
Mr. Brown, second question.
Will you repeat the question, please?
Yes. What is the biggest social issue the town faces, and how would you address it?
Quite frankly, I don't know what the biggest social issue of the town is. As a council member, what we deal with are the issues related to service, providing police protection, fire protection, keeping the streets clean, and that sort of thing is what we deal with. Now, we have citizens groups that we appoint to serve the town and deal with some of these social issues. But it's not really a focus of the town council, quite frankly. I do think that the town has an obligation to do what it can through various methods, ATAX and hospitality tax monies, to help some of these organizations that are doing some things that's helping them grow to thrive. I do think we need to make sure that the various ethnicities in towns are being helped as much as possible, like the African Americans, like the Italians, like the Jews, various ethnic issues. But we are willing to work with these organizations to help them thrive. And this is something that the town is keenly aware of. But as far as social issues, this has really not been a focus or thrust of the town.
Mr. Smith, high-density developments, including subdivision and apartments, are routinely approved with what appears to be a lack of consideration to improving the infrastructure, such as roads, water, and sewer, to support them. Keeping this in mind, how would you approach growth and development in Summerville?
That's me.
Who answered? No, Mr. Brown.
I thought it was a question.
It is.
It's his.
Mr. Brown.
No problem, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Will you repeat the question, please?
High-density developments, including subdivision and apartments, are routinely approved with what appears to be a lack of consideration to improving the infrastructure, such as roads, water, and sewer, that would support them. Keeping this in mind, how would you approach development and growth in Summerville?
Currently, the town is moving toward tighter oversight of developers that are coming in with development plans to develop property. There have been some mistakes made in the past that have created some problems. That's what I alluded to when we were talking about the flooding. The town is finding itself having to go back to certain areas and repair some of these problems, drainage problems and infrastructure problems that the developers failed to take care of the taxpayers' expense. We don't do that now. We've learned from those mistakes. So what we do now is we hold the developer's feet to the fire and we require them to do exactly what they say they're going to do when they come to the planning department to lay out a plan to build subdivisions. One of the things that we do that we didn't do in the past, the town, we allocate some money in our budget every year to do sidewalks in some of the old areas of town where there are no sidewalks. But now, in the newer areas when the developers come in, we require them at their own cost to put in those sidewalks. So those are some of the things that we're doing.
I'm really glad to hear that question. And I'm looking at this response to this answer is that infrastructure, we have let, what I said earlier, and this is all falling into place, what I said earlier, about where we're building these subdivisions and how we're building them. Also, who is over the developers? We can't let someone say, well, we're changing it now. To me, that's, the one that's out of the bag is out of the bag. And then the problem comes back to us, the taxpayers, who have to make up for the differences that has happened here. I would ask your question very directly and very succinctly. I would get a committee together, a committee of the citizens. I would look at each subdivision that's going in and look at not only a 10-year or 20-year or 25-year plan. We have issues right now with subdivisions where major traffic patterns have changed through short-sightedness. Who have made these decisions? And we as a group, as citizens of Summerville, cannot allow the councilmen to come in and say, well, we made those changes and we understand that it's a burden to the taxpayers. That's unacceptable.
Okay, gentlemen, as I look at the clock, time is almost up, so I'm going to ask one final question and then you'll have your closing statements. What do you see as the council's main purpose? Mr. Smith, what do you see as the council's main purpose? Please use the microphone.
That's a nice governmental type of question. And in a democracy, I appreciate that question. And I would say the council's main purpose is to do the bidding of the citizens. May I repeat? The council's main purpose is to do the bidding of its citizenship, not for them to go in their closed rooms and make decisions like we've heard this evening about what happened in the past in regards to subdivisions, and that was our fault, but we're changing it now. We need, like I'm running my campaign on, we need open, we need transparency, and we need transparency. How do we get in the dilemma with the 3 lawsuits that we have going on now in regards to the hotel? We need transparency. And this is what we're looking after, and this is what I build myself on, is transparency. Now some people may say, yeah, but we need transparency. We have 3 lawsuits facing us, y'all. Let's face it. Who decided to make the hotel? Mr. Brown, did you vote for it?
Mr. Brown, again, the question, what do you see as the council's main purpose?
Thank you for that question, Peggy. I just jotted some things down that I thought would be very interesting for you to understand how the council works. The main purpose of the council is leadership. The reason people are elected to serve on council is because of the masses of people in the town. You feel that 6 people, plus a mayor, can do things for you that you cannot do for yourself, right? And so you vote the best people in office to do that job for you. And that job entails a lot of things. The council should keep you safe. As a matter of fact, that's what government is all about. Government shouldn't go to the post office and get stamps for you. You can do that yourself. Government should do for you what you cannot do for yourself. Okay? So, the council forms a police department and maintains it to keep you safe. They form a fire department and maintains it and hire the best people to keep you safe from fires and those types of dangers. The council also appoints citizens committees to help them give you a better quality of life, like DREAM, Sculpture in the South. We've got a number of organizations that assist the council, and many of you that I see here in this audience are fortunate enough to serve on those committees, aren't you? So the council itself, the 6 people who serve on council and the mayor, we are assisted by many arms and many fingers, and you are the ones who make this town what it is. But the main thing that we should do for you is give you that great quality of life, which involve all of these things: public safety, no taxes, great parks and recreation. And that's what your council should do for you.
Ma'am, if you will, I have a rebuttal question, if you don't mind.
His name was not mentioned.
Your name was not mentioned.
Okay, then. Okay.
And now we'll have the closing statements. And who went first? Mr. Brown goes first?
Mr. Brown goes first. Thank you, Peggy. In my closing statement, I could say a lot of words, but I'm going to give you some bullet points. And this is in harmony with the last question that we had, is what should the council do for you? Okay? Traffic management, quality of life, control growth, preserve the historic district, downtown development, continue to work with DREAM and the Chamber of Commerce, Sculpture in the South, and the citizens groups to help the downtown be what it should be. Affordable housing, looking out for the homeless, housing that fits the needs of all, preserving the heritage, the African American heritage and other ethnic cultures, growth control through zoning, diversity in parks and recreation, complete the National Guard Army, expand all types of sports to offer more diversity in sports for our people. Higher education for soldiers in Summerville in 2 years. That's something we need to be working on. Also, we need to find a way to get to Jedburgh to bring that industrial area into the town to reduce your taxes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes, ma'am. I love Summerville. Summerville is a great town. I'm very interested in District 1. In fact, my family has endowed District 1 with $200,000 over the last 5 years because we believe in District 1. I'm the founder of the Community Resource Center. We've helped economic disadvantaged with free home repairs, free air conditioners, and we signed up over 400 people for Obamacare, directly affecting their lives. We have developed learning centers. In fact, we've developed a model that is being used throughout the Low Country now, which we are very excited about. Not only do we do that, we work with disadvantaged children, at-risk kids, adult GED, and one of the most important things as a taxpayer we have is transforming prisoners that have been released and back into society. We work with them, and we have been very successful with that. And as I said before, my family believe in District 1 because we put our money where the mouth at. And we have given over $200,000, and it can be verified and verified. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. I have a comment for Tim, as soon as they turn off our timer. Both gentlemen appreciate you being here, and they would appreciate your support on November 7th.